looking for answers. As we go through this, we're all going to go through a bunch of different questions. Like, why did this happen? Well, the fundamental reason is that your ex was using you. You were a source of supply the entire time. The entire relationship was an illusion, and it wasn't really real. Now, in other videos, I've talked about the fact that it was real to you and it was real to me, but for them, they didn't process it the same way. So you're in the situation you are now because you're not of any value to them anymore. You're not able to provide that supply that they were getting before. That can be for a couple of different reasons. It could be that you've been replaced, or you set boundaries to where you have clearly stated that you're not going to do things the same way, so they know they're not going to get the same thing from you, so there's no reason to pursue or progress with the relationship. So the next question is what did I do to deserve this? Well, bottom line, you didn't do anything to deserve this. You weren't a bad person. You didn't, do bad things, and you didn't bring this upon yourself because of things that you did wrong. You were targeted and selected by your ex because of what they thought they could get from you. And that could be empathy, that could be money, that could be security. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why you were targeted. Probably one of the big reasons is that you were available, meaning that you were attractive to them. They could see that you had weak boundaries and that you would be ripe for targeting. And bottom line, you were used. You were used for those things, whatever it was that they were targeting you for to get. That was the entire thing. And part of the thing you have to remember is that you were susceptible to their abuse. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you came from a bad background, which that could be a strong case. Like that was in my situation, that was a big issue. But when they target you, they find out everything that you want, everything that you're looking for, and they make sure that they give you that in the beginning. That's what the whole love bombing stage of this is about. And as things degrade over time, they can still give you those breadcrumbs of some of those things that you want, so that you get a glimpse of what it was in the past. So you're still striving for that in the past. But bottom line, you were used to get what they wanted. Okay, so the next question on this is, what exactly does all this mean? I mean, okay, so you're in this situation, what now? Well, the first thing is you have to accept what has happened. You have to accept that you were targeted by a toxic person or a suspected toxic person, and they were using you. You have to accept that this is over and it's done. There is no going back. You have to accept that if you did go back, it wouldn't necessarily be the way it was before. It would be worse, because you've just demonstrated that you even have less boundaries, less self-esteem, less self-worth to fight what they're trying to do to you. And you have to accept that you have to focus on your well-being. You have to focus on you. You have to make sure that you shift from trying to understand what they were doing to try to understand the drama, being in that drama, reacting emotionally, and you have to focus on fixing your own environment. You have to focus on understanding this, understanding what is over, so that you can make sure that your mental health is stable. Now, there's been a lot of discussion recently where what's the priority? Is the priority your kids, or is the priority you? And there's been difference of opinions. In my opinion, you have to work on yourself, because if you don't get your own head in order, your own perspective around this under control, you are not in a great situation to actually help your kids, because you're going to be reacting emotionally. You're going to be triggered by them, because they will be used as surrogates to triangulate you and to try to create extra drama and chaos. And if you're not prepared for it, if you're not expecting it, if you haven't fixed or at least started working on yourself to be able to recognize what's going on and not react to those situations, you are going to create more drama and stress with you and your children, which makes this entire situation significantly worse. Now, you can recover if those mistakes that you make with your kids, you can recover from them, but every mistake you make slows the process down. And I've talked about this in the past, that I made a significant amount of mistakes in the beginning of this. I reacted to things. I was triggered by my kids. I was so stressed and frustrated from, well, two parts. One being sabotage when they would come back home to me and something would be in the mail or some issue would come up, some bill, some court document, some child support services document, whatever it was, would always end up showing up when I had the kids. So I'm trying to deal with the stress of that while trying to pretend that everything's okay. The kids see it. The kids make comments that they don't even know that they're making that are causing problems, and it just creates that extra drama. For me, every time I made one of those mistakes, I set myself back. Every time I snapped at the kids, I set myself back. Every time I wasn't able to keep my emotional state in check, I set myself back with the kids. So you have to focus on getting your well-being under control so that you can help yourself. And then when you can do that, you can help your children. It's very similar to the plane, when you're on an airline and when they say if the oxygen mask falls, you put it on yourself before you help someone else. Because if you don't make sure that you're okay, you're not really in a situation to help somebody else. So the next question on this is, can I heal from this? Can you recover from this? And you're probably asking yourself that question because it seems like you're stuck. You seem like you just can't move past what's happened to you. And I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can heal. You can regain your power again. You can help yourself and your children to get through this and to conquer this, empower yourself, and minimize what your ex is able to do to create drama and trauma in your life. Okay, so what's the reality of this situation? Well, the first thing that you have to accept is it takes a really long time to heal. I know I've mentioned this a lot, and I mentioned this in the comments, and I think it's super important to say, because there's a lot of time where you're gonna be sitting and spinning and feeling like this is never going to end, that you are never going to recover. And unfortunately, it takes a long time. You've been through a tremendous amount of abuse, emotional abuse. If it was covert abuse, it's even worse because it was systematically done over a significant period of time. Even if your situation was short, there's still, okay, what I'm talking about, in my situation, it was a 20+ year relationship, okay? Which that just in and of itself is like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense that it's gonna take a long time, right? But people who have short relationships, these whirlwind just romances, which technically that was my situation, I just stuck around for a long time. It's along the same lines because so much abuse and deceit and just weird things have happened that you just can't get over it real quick. So if your relationship was even short, like let's say you had a whirlwind romance like I was mentioning, and it blew apart within a year, okay? You're still gonna need time to recover from it because you were manipulated and lied to. And then whenever it was shut off, you didn't get any closure. It just ended probably in an instant, even though there was stuff leading up to it. But it feels like that, and you're left like dazed and confused. This isn't a relationship where you both gradually drifted apart and you both went different ways and you both sat down and made it and had a discussion to say, well, you're going left, I'm going right, and we're just not heading in the same direction, and that's okay. We can be friends, because in normal situations there is an opportunity to do it, and you part your ways. That's not what happens. This goes from a super bond situation in the beginning, and then it explodes, and then you're being attacked and you don't even know why. So on that, this isn't easy. This isn't an easy thing to get over. And you have to give yourself time to heal. It's critically important that you accept and understand that this takes a lot of time. And when you do that, when you accept that, when you acknowledge that to yourself, when you're having those days where you feel like this is never getting better, or maybe all the improvements you think you've made feel like they've been erased, it can give you a little bit of peace to know, okay, this is just part of the process and I still have more to do. And it's normal, right? It's when you think that you're stuck in something that's not, well, I mean, this whole relationship is not normal, but when you think that you're stuck in something that is absolutely not normal, as in the recovery part of it, then you start feeling like there's something significantly wrong with you, which starts you down a whole nother path, which isn't good. So you have to give yourself the time to heal. It's critically important. So guys, when you're looking for answers on this, you know, a lot of them are right there in front of your face. And then as you look at your situation, you're gonna see a lot of the warning signs, a lot of the indicators that something was wrong before. So the answers are there. Learn it, continue to learn as much as you can, because knowledge really is power on this. Knowledge gives you the ability to understand this and to fight it, and to give you the strength to do the right thing, to not enable your ex to continue emotionally abusing you, getting reactions from you, gaslighting you, basically doing all those things that cause you to implode upon yourself. Okay, so if you have some comments you want to share with everybody about how you've been dealing with this, you know, how you found your answers, how this whole process started, and maybe even with how the length it takes, just so that other people can see that other people are going through this, because it's really helpful for people to get that validation of what they're going through and the fact that it does take time. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like the channel, please subscribe. You can do that over there. And I will chat with you guys on the next video. Take care.